tonight for boxing as Joe DeGuardia Star Boxing puts on an all-star cast here at the Roseland Ballroom in Midtown Manhattan. The Roseland, which has played part to concerts and vaudeville, press conferences and proms, nightclub acts and trade shows, tonight will feature once again light heavyweights as promoter Joe DeGuardia keeps that spotlight on the 175-pounders. And tonight it is going to be David Telesco as he takes on the very tough Tom Cameron. Joining me at ringside, as always, the former editor-in-chief of Ring Magazine, my buddy Steve Farhood. And Steve, David Telesco, arguably one of the hardest hitters in the light heavyweight division, a very tough performer. And tonight is one of those crossroads fights because he can't possibly lose to a Tom Cameron if he wants to get back in the ring against Roy Jones Jr.
Well, David Telesco's last fight was against Roy Jones Jr. for the title in Radio City Music Hall. He went the distance, but he was very disappointed with his performance. He didn't really win a round. A lot of soul-searching after that fight. Changed his manager, changed his trainer. It's been 16 months since Telesco's been in the ring. That's a long time to get back to your best performance.
Well, Tom Cameron is a very tough performer with about a 500 record, but he has come in here tonight into the Roseland Ballroom with victory on his mind.
Tom Cameron's got it tough. He's really a super middleweight, but he's won 3 in a row. And of course, it's up to him to set a fast pace and hope that Telesco, who hasn't fought in 16 months, is not on his game.
Well, Tom Cameron calls himself the Ripper because he says he rips up his opponents whether he's winning or losing. We'll find out tonight if he can upset the cart with his opponent, David Telesco. We'll be back in just a moment. Into the ring right now is Tom Cameron. And earlier today we had a chance to sit around and talk with him about his feelings, about tonight's bout against David Telesco.
Because I'm not scared to get hit, and I'll take as much as a killer punch, you know what I mean? I just go right in there and get it on. So the Ripper, some people started calling me that just because I rip them up, you know? I have some very hard punches and just basically ripping them apart.
And now making his way out of the dressing room, the very popular David Telesco out of Point Chester, New York. On the brink of a world title shot once again. Notice he's got to punch his way right back in there. But the boxing world always looking for somebody to throw back in with Roy Jones. And even after his performance against Roy Jones, it'll only take a few with this guy. We had a chance to talk with him earlier, and here is what he had to say.
It feels great to fight home, you know, in my hometown because I get a lot of support, and I want to be recognized as a New York fighter, just like the New York Yankees and the New York Mets and the Knicks. I want to be their New York fighter, and I'm going to put on a good show for him tonight.
To get this one started, let's go up to the ring announcer, Dean Stone.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is Joe DeGuardia's Star Boxing featured bout of the evening. It is scheduled for 8 rounds in the Cruiserweight division. Your referee in charge of the action, Arthur Mercante. Introducing first in the blue corner, wearing gold and black, weighing in at 176.5 pounds. He has fought in 28 professional fights. Ladies and gentlemen, from Wilmington, Delaware, presenting the IBU Super Middleweight Champion, Tom the Ripper Cameron. His opponent across the ring in the red corner, wearing the multicolored trunks, weighs in at 178.5 pounds. His professional record, 23 victories, 19 coming by way of knockout with 3 defeats. Ladies and gentlemen, from Port Chester, New York, presenting the man known as DDT, David Devastation Telesco.
Okay, Steve, let's take a look at that tail of the tape between these two. They call them cruiserweights, but technically, come on, these guys are light heavyweights.
Good evening, gentlemen. You received the rules earlier tonight by the New York State Athletic.
Telesco is the bigger guy. Don't let the weights fool you. He's only got a 2-pound weight advantage. I'm impressed with the fact that Telesco is 178.5, hasn't fought in so long, yet he's only 3 pounds over the light heavyweight limit. But Cameron is really a blown-up middleweight, super middleweight. So that's the big difference in the tail of the tape. And, of course, Telesco, with the outstanding record, he's the much harder puncher, too.
Here we are, round number 1, scheduled for 10 rounds. Fasten your seatbelts. This one could be over quick. Telesco comes right out, nails him. Cameron hurt already. Down he goes. Referee Arthur McCanty sends him to a neutral corner. The count of 3, 4, 5, 6. McCanty's in his face. It does not look. Can he make it? Can he make it? It's over. A quick, devastating knockout. Just caught him cold. Cameron got hurt with the first punch that really landed. Couldn't shake it off. And this one is over quickly.
Randy,
and he just slumped to the floor.
Yeah,
if you're wondering if he's hurt, he's slumped. MERCANTE lifted him right up. Steve, here it comes.
Wow, that left hook to the body might have been the subtle shot that really did Cameron in, but that looked like a super middleweight or middleweight against a light heavyweight. Telesco was a much harder puncher, and Cameron couldn't deal with it.
It was a splinter in there against David Telesco. There's a different angle here, Steve. Let's take a look at it and analyze it from this position. Those bombs that were thrown, especially that first body shot.
Yeah, one thing's for sure. Telesco came out with the intent of looking good, making a statement, and scoring a quick knockout. And against a fighter who had 3 straight wins, he did just that.
You just can't look any better than that. You know, he was a bit disappointed. A bit is an understatement. He fought Roy Jones Jr. about 1.5 years ago as they opened the doors to boxing at the famed Radio City Music Hall. And in the fight, it just wasn't the David Telesco you saw tonight. For whatever went on, he said he let his anger against Roy Jones, he had built himself, worked himself up into a frenzy over the past few months, and he took that fury into the ring. And instead of letting it drive him, he let it burn him up and consume him. And for 12 rounds, he fought very un-David Telesco-like. The announcers were all over him from HBO. They condemned him for the fight virtually. And quite frankly, it really wasn't Telesco, and he did deserve to get knocked. He brooded for a while. He's back tonight. You saw what he did. Let's go up to ring announcer Dean Stone and make this one official.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time is 23 seconds of the very first round. Your winner by knockout, the man known as DDT, David Devastation Telesco.
Well, got a lot going on in that ring right now. We've got David Telesco up in the ring holding his daughter. And look who is joining the champ right now, the legendary Diana Ross. And let's see if we can get Steve to bring the champ, Diana Ross, over to him. Those pictures first, nothing like pictures. A very happy moment for David Telesco. And right now, Diana Ross walking over and giving Tom Cameron a big congratulatory hug. Diana Ross trying to run out of the ring. She came up, a big boxing fan, I think a little bit scared of Steve Farhood, but he is standing by right now with David Telesco. Let's go up to Steve.
Thank you, Randy. David, it looked like you really wanted to come out here and make a very, very quick statement, which is exactly what you did.
You know, after my last fight with Jones, that was my game plan, to come out and to attack. But mentally, I wasn't in the ring, prepared mentally. And today, I just wanted to make a big splash and show people that I'm willing to work my way back to get that world title fight with Joe DeGuardia to help me out.
Well, only 3 pounds over the light heavyweight limit. Coming off that big a layoff, I think that's impressive, and it said you were in good shape.
Well, thank you very much, but I don't feel that was a long layoff. I've done a 4-year layoff, so 16, 17 months is nearly as close to 4 years.
when we watched the replay, it looked like there was one shot in there that may have been a little subtle, a left hook to the body. That looked like it took everything out of him, even if that wasn't the shot that put him down. Did you feel that punch?
I didn't feel anything. I was just going out like a bull and just don't let my punches go, let my hands go. I know I'm a heavy puncher.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thank
hoping that one of the punches would stop him from fighting.
We thank you also.
Joe DeGuardia, David's promoter. You have to be happy with this, but what's in the future?
Well, we're going to keep him busy. He's going to stay busy. He's going to come back. Looks like we're looking at one for next month. He's scheduled also for August 30th down in Tropicana in Atlantic City. He's going to stay busy, going to stay active. He wants a title shot again, and he wants to show that there's a lot more to David Telesco than that was seen in the Roy Jones fight, and there is.
David, one last question from me. If you get another title shot, obviously that's what you're hoping for. Would you like it to be Jones, or would you like it to be somebody else?
Well, obviously, it wouldn't matter. My dream was to capture the light heavyweight division, but I'm also willing to go down to super middleweight, fight Bernard Hopkins and whoever else is there for me. So it doesn't matter as long as I become world champion in one of the divisions, but more than likely the light heavyweight division.
David Telesco's back, looking real good. Quick knockout. Let's quickly go back to Randy Gordon.
Thank you very much, Steve. Great job up there by David Telesco, blasting out his opponent in seconds, Tom Cameron. David Telesco now 24-3, 20 knockouts, and Roy Jones is in his sights. Don't go away. We'll be back for a wrap. Hey, boxing fans, come out for live boxing. Joe DeGuardia's Star Boxing presents Rockin' Fights. For ticket information, go to starboxing.com or ticketmaster.com. See some of the best young fighters. Star Boxing, Rockin' Fights, it's a knockout. We're back on Star Boxing. What a night it's been. It's been David Telesco very quick over Tom Cameron. What'd you think?
Well, you know what? For Telesco, it's about what happens from here on in. This was a good start. This alone isn't going to get him a title shot. As Joe DeGuardia said, his promoter, keep him busy. That's the key with Telesco at this point.
The one thing he did say, Steve, that surprised me, it's not just Roy Jones at light heavyweight. He said he'd drop down to 168, and he'd go after the likes of Bernard Hopkins. That was a very interesting statement.
Anything is easier than taking on Roy Jones the second time.
You're not kidding. It's been a great night, another great night on Star Boxing. For Steve Farhood, I'm Randy Gordon. Good night, everybody.